Hi, Glenn Phillips with Lake Homes Realty and lakehomes.com. Today I want to talk to you about why lake home real estate is a long game. So what do I mean by that? Buying and selling a lake property is not anything like buying a primary residence on its schedule. In a primary residence, people are often timed by some event that has some urgency to it. You move to a new town for a new job, you kind of need to either buy or lease a place. You gotta have a place to live. A family has somebody who has a health problem and stairs are out. Well, you're not going to wait 3 years if you can help it. You're either going to modify the house or more likely you're going to move and you're on a schedule. So this is how most things work, but not at the lake. While things can move very quickly, I'm going to explain though, if you're buying or selling, why you need to think about lake real estate as a long game and work to make it shorter. So first is discretionary equals patient. A lake home is a discretionary property, just like if you went to a really nice restaurant. You didn't need to pay that much money to sustain your body. And a lake home, you don't need to pay a premium for basic shelter. Even if it's part of the lifestyle you're buying. It's that access to the water that you seek. And so when it's discretionary, we can be more selective. And when we're more selective, it takes more time. We don't have to settle with discretionary. You're not going to go to a high-end restaurant and pay a premium for food you don't want. Same thing happens when people are buying that property. And many people selling. They don't have to sell. There's not always that life event. It just maybe becomes a realization one day of we just don't use it like we used to, and I don't anticipate we will, or the kids really don't want to inherit it. So these things can really make the long game. Number two, unlike other types of residential real estate, mortgage rates are not really a driver. If rates crash, there's not a surge of people saying, oh, I can finally buy that lake home. Why? Over half the transactions we conduct across the country are cash. And the people who can buy are getting the best credit rating because they're able to pay extra for a discretionary dream home. So this is another reason it makes it a long game, is that you're not having these external factors like mortgage rates push people in and out of the market the same way. Now it may affect developers, but those are not mortgage rates, those are building and development commercial loans. And while they are impacted, that affects inventory. It doesn't affect the buyer and seller as much, other than availability of inventory. Number three, dream homes are a different type of purchase than your urban, suburban, rural primary residence. Think about it. If you're going to get a dream home, you want your dream. And if you're looking at the lake or lakes you're interested in and it doesn't have your home, you either have to wait for one like that to come on the market or find a place that's the type of property on the lake you want and build. All these things take time. And many people, before they build, will try to wait and see what happens in the market over time. Another long play, particularly right now in the markets where we've had compressed inventory. There's not a lot to pick from, so people will wait. And they may eventually soften maybe their list of 5 things they want in a dream home and just take one with 3. But still, they have to work through that mental process. And then to keep in mind that the new lake home buyer who's never bought this type of property before, just about always has a learning curve to accept and understand. See people come in and go, oh, wow, I thought for $500,000 I would get a lot more house than this lake house. And so what you pose the question to, our agents will say, would this be a $350,000 home in your, near you in your suburbs where you live? And they go, yeah, about $350,000. So this is a $350,000 house on a $150,000 lot. The lake is positioning the house to be more valuable because of what it sits on, not just the house itself. And most of the time, if somebody's buying their first lake home, they have to go through the process of understanding that they have to think differently about what they're going to spend, and either, if they've got a budget, be okay, work through getting a little less house or trade-off, or think about, will they increase their budget to account for the excess of the opportunity to be at the lake. So these are all things that make buying and selling real estate at the lake a long game. Now, in a current market, if you list your home at the right price, it can go quickly. It's not a long game, but you have to be deliberate about it. Buyers, if they're watching and they're willing to do a lot of compromise and are willing to move quickly, they can buy very quickly, but the shopping may take a long time. But those are things that can accelerate. So the wise thing, though, is to think about the long play and then work to compress it. We've got agents who know how to do this. They're experts in their market and each of the lakes around the country. You can find them at lakehomes.com, as well as tens of thousands of properties that are for sale on thousands of lakes around the country as well. And helpful videos and articles like these. So I hope this has been helpful. Hope you have a great day. For more information, be sure to check out lakehomes.com.